the right to live wherever they want to live.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's move on. The fear of further hike in price of petrol remains after fuel subsidy removal by the federal government. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, and the Association of Distributors and Transporters of Petroleum Products have dismissed rumor of hike in the price of fuel to 700 naira per litre. The associations, however, noted that fuel price is now being driven by market forces, and given the current high exchange rate, the pump price of petrol could increase. I mean, isn't this contradictory in a way?
Well,
and to play the devil's advocate, I mean, Nigerians say that once you hear anything as speculation, I mean, it may take 2 weeks, it may take 3 weeks, it will eventually come to reality.
But even that speculation was talking about end of July. And the driving force there is what happens in the international market vis-a-vis our own exchange rate. Now the exchange rates for both the official and the other markets, they've been collapsed. They are operating at about the same level now. So it's not impossible that there will be upward and downward movement in terms of price. But I think the key thing is that if government has decided that it does not want to regulate the price of petrol, especially because others have been done a long time ago, then it should be left to the people who are importing this thing to decide. NNPC, as of today, is the major importer. Can we license others and provide them the enabling environment to import? Dangote refinery is coming on stream. Can we allow it also to work without regulation? I think that is what we should be looking at. So that if today we buy it at 500 naira, tomorrow we may be able to find it at 300 naira. The following day it may go to 400 naira, but let the market forces determine that. When we started with the issue of mobile telephone, we know that now, now we know what is happening now and what happened then. When they told us that we couldn't do per second billing, where once you make a call, even if it's only 2 seconds and the thing cuts off, you are paying for a whole minute. Now it's a different ball game because that sector was allowed to evolve on its own. A lot of people are arguing that you can't leave petrol at that level because they see communication via phone as luxurious. Maybe it's a luxury. It's not. It's also business. Now, when you look at what happened with telecoms at that time, especially when it became cheaper, everybody was making calls as they liked, as they loved. And they were getting away with it. When the economy became a bit tougher, our usage
everyone adjusted,
came down. And it's still going now. Everybody is looking for a cheaper means of communicating. So also are people now looking for cheaper means of handling issues that have to do with petrol. Some park their vehicles somewhere, join buses to work. If I don't need to go and see my friend and it's a matter of life and death, I won't go. Because people have now, the question to ask is, I want to go from Ikeja to go and greet my friend on the island.
What's the purpose?
What's the purpose? So we're beginning to tighten our own belts ourselves, even without being told. So nobody is expected now to say, we're now going to keep fixing or doing permutation. Let the day speak for itself. But let government also grant more licenses for importation. And quickly too, so people can bring in this product. When there is competition, something is going to give way. Certainly, I'm sure of that.
All right, so Mr. Dotun, I mean, IPMAN says no plan to hike petrol to 700 naira per litre.
Well, the bottom line is that the essence of government is to create law and order. There cannot be law and order when people are hungry and when people have to, every day, you know, it's about promises of tomorrow. People have to live for today before they can even think of seeing that great tomorrow you are promising them. Nigerians have passed through very difficult moments these past 8 years. That is the truth. What was the exchange rate in 2015? I think about 198 or so. Now, what was our debt? What was the GDP in 2015 compared with what we have now? So Nigerians are very kind people, honestly. Some countries do not take what is going on. And what the average Nigerian is just looking for is just to eat. They are not asking for too much. So if you have seen what if you notice what we passed through these first few months, the Naira swap, you took the money everybody had, you know, people packed them and put them in the bank. You want to give them new notes. At the end of the day, those new notes we are not getting them. If you go to bank now, the same money you give to them. And many businesses collapsed because of this policy. So the government, you know, the country has been left in a mess. And that is why, among those who that contested the election, really only very few of them, 3 of them even, you know, has the capacity to handle the challenges. Forget about people are talking campaign and all that. They do understand the depth of the problem that Nigeria is at this moment. So it needs extra creativity. It needs a lot of experience. That's why they're talking about increment. This increase that we had these few weeks, people are passing through hell. I'm sure some people have lost their lives because of this increase. So we cannot just live our life to market forces. Market forces is about human beings now. Government at every time must intervene, you know, to be able to ensure that you intervene so that things do not get out of order. Now, the petroleum importers, if Naira crashes, it will affect them. They will need to pay in dollars. So if your Naira depreciates, you are going to have a problem because the more it goes up, the more you pay, you know, because you have to buy in dollar anyway. So government needs to create, you know, look for a creative way. But personally, I'm not any other illusion that things will be resolved in the first few months. It's going to be very tough. Absolutely. For instance, look at the fuel that crude oil we are exporting. People don't ask the question. If you eat crude oil, there are about close to 20 byproducts. PVC, naphthalene, bitumen, polyester, fertilizer. So when you take your crude oil outside, you are selling it $1, but you are losing a lot because if you refine it at home, there are fertilizer. You know, all these ATM you are using, they are products of, you know, polyester, PVC, pipes. So what happens to these byproducts? You just take them abroad, you refine, and then you bring in. What happens to other things? That means that one barrel of that you are selling, maybe $77, is actually about $200 if you look at other byproducts associated with that one barrel. What happens to those things? That's why the long-term plan must start now. We must ensure we refine our you know, crude oil at home so that we can save a lot of money. We don't need to be buying dollar. We buy in Naira. It's going to improve the economy to create more jobs. But as long as we depend on importing, you know, finished products of things that we produce here, you produce yam, you now go and pound it in Ghana and then bring it back. We are not going to be able to deal with these challenges. All
right. So just before we move on, I mean, just because Mr. Dotto mentioned this earlier, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority says it has issued licenses to 5 companies for the importation of fuel.
Yeah, he said so.
So what's the significance of this?
Well, it's a step forward, like we've said. But if it can do more, it's fine. Let there be competition. Government will always give you a range. And since NNPC remains the largest importer, if we have all the majors selling at a particular price, nobody is going to come and do anything significantly different. So in a way, that means there is control in whatever we are doing. But we need more people to bring it in so that there can be competition. If I see a 2 naira difference, I can, for instance, if I need to fill maybe a car that is about 100 liters, and I see a 2 naira difference between one filling station and the other, I can go to the other one. It saves me 200 naira, but that 200 naira can buy me a bottle of water or Coke.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move on. Though